Bacon ribs from Costco. I mean, whoever knew they were a thing? Not me, but just look at these beauties. They're practically begging to be slathered in sauce, even with zero regard for table manners. And today we're going to make them delicious, messy, and possibly life-changing. And while we're at it, let's give the Ninja rack a proper workout, see whether or not it's worth your hard-earned cash. Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. So these are bacon ribs, and what bacon rib means is that they've been cured. Curing is a form of preservation, and quite often they use salt in that, so we need to be careful about what we're going to put on it. I'm going to use my blackening seasoning, and I'll link the recipe that down below. But let's get into these. So let's start by getting these out of the packet. Now the first thing I want to look for is bones that are going to poke through the tin foil when we wrap these later. If you do find any of those, just trim them off nice and quickly, no dramas there. Next thing I like to do is trim the end bones off. This is so you have meat on both ends of your ribs, and it just gives a better bite. Then check the ribs over. If you find any scraggly bits of fat or like gristle, just take those off, as they won't cook well and they don't taste nice. It's personal preference, but I personally don't like the membrane, so just lever up one section, get a paper towel, and then once in motion just rip that off. Keeping it nice and simple today, we're using French's mustard as a binder. I also think it adds a really nice flavour, and what goes better than pork, the mustard. Next comes the 16 mesh black pepper. Now you've got to put the pepper on first, because the larger granules are what help attract the smoke to the meat, and that of course is going to add so much flavour. So I'm going to put it on nice easy coating, not too heavy, just get a nice decent coverage. Now the blackening seasoning works so well with pork, so it's got paprika in it, it's got garlic, a little bit of chili powder, and as well as a tiny bit of salt, and this works really well to add a beautiful colour, loads of flavour to the pork, but without raising that salt level too much. And you want to give a nice generous kind of like helping of this. It's going to bring out so much flavour. Now with your final layer of seasoning, make sure that you finish it with your presentation side up. That way people are going to think you know what you're doing when you pull out these amazing ribs, and they look fantastic. So that's that one done. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other 3 sets of ribs, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to use that. And I'm also wondering, how many ribs can you get on it for perfect like they new? Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes and you can see all this rub is really nicely adhered on here. So you've got your normal non-stick grill over here, and the rack itself, it slaps bang in the middle, sits nicely in the grooves, and then you've got things here so it holds it. In terms of the racks, so the biggest one, so because these are baby back ribs and they're quite small, I actually had to really play around to get this to work. I put the big one at the front, and then the others kind of leant against more of the side of the rib rack than the actual top, as you're meant to. If you have bigger ribs, I don't think it'd be a problem, but this I had to play a bit of Jenga bits. Now as normal, I haven't turned it on. I like the little bit of dirty smoke that you get. At the end of the day, you literally get it for like 2-3 minutes. It doesn't make a major difference, and it definitely won't have a negative impact, so definitely worth doing. So turn it to smoker. I'm going to have it about 120, so it's around the 250-ish mark, and this is basically what I know it's like. And then I'm going to do it for 2 hours. Now the ribs themselves are going to take more than 2 hours, but my 2-hour marker is to say, right, I really need to look at these, what am I going to do with them now, sort of thing. But time to press the old start button, let it go through its ignition sequence. That'll add quite a lot of smoke flavour, because remember this isn't a particularly long cook, so you won't get a huge amount of smoke on it regardless. So the thing, just doing it through the cold smoke and doing it from the start up, it really kind of like, it adds a lot of flavour, and it's really beneficial to do. So I'll check back with you in the next hour and we'll see how they do. So one of the main questions I get is what pellets do I use, and I use cooking pellets. They've got great flavour, they've made a really high quality product, low creosote, really recommend these. So the purpose of wrapping ribs is to get them to that tenderness as quickly as possible. They've taken on as much smoke as we want them to, now it's all about getting them to that finishing point. So we're going to start off with 2 sheets of tin foil, then I'm going to add a layer of soft brown sugar. This adds a beautiful sweetness that works so well with the pork, kind of adds a caramel flavour in there, and just is absolutely wonderful. Now I found this Anchor squeezy butter, and it's working so well in these ribs, but if you don't have access to this, just pats of your normal unsalted butter will work perfectly well. and basically you try and add some flavour and some liquid back into this cook, and then it's meat side down with the ribs. You want to sit in this mixture and braise in that beautiful flavours. Now when it comes to wrapping, you fold it so that the fold is on top of the ribs so that you don't get any of this liquid leak out, and then you just fold that back on itself to keep it a nice tight parcel. You don't want it to steam, you want it to braise. But back over to the Ninja and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I've got my little bundles of joy all here, all nicely buttoned up, ready to go. Now I am going to take this off now because I don't want the ribs sat in there, because all that mixture is going to come to the bottom and I don't want it. I want it to cook in here. So I might have to play a bit of Jenga, but if I can move these around some degree, I think. Oh no, it's a bit tight. So that one we have to do a bit of a sacrificial lamb and out to the middle. So I'm going to close this down and I'm just going to carry on until these hit around the 200 mark. Then I'm going to test it. I'm going to probe them, make sure everything's nice and tender. Then we're going to take them off to rest. But this is it. And I have to say, this has been such a nice simple cook on here, and crazy quick, like really quick. So really nice change to these ones, yeah. But yeah, that looks good. Right, let's close this down. I'm going to carry on rocking it at 250 or about 120. Sorry, I did actually mean to say, so rather than using the smoke function, I've changed it to roast. I put it down to the lowest setting and I currently set it for an hour. So these aren't going to take an hour, but I think, you know, it's a good way to like double check it. Do remember though, when you change it from smoker to roast, take out any pellets that you've got left, because obviously this chamber is going to carry on getting hot, and the way this Ninja works is that it's still going to be heating those pellets up and it's still going to be smoking a lot. So because these are wrapped up, they're not going to get any more smoke on them at all. It's just about getting them to that point where they're tender. So for the time being, like I say, switch it to roast, let it rock until they're nice and tender, but make sure you take those pellets out, which I'm about to do now. And remember, they're going to be hot. Right, so the Ninja's finished now, so giving it another like 45 minutes, I think it was in total. I actually changed it to. And you can see here, I've got a little hole in the bottom on the top where I've been probing it. And as you can see, it's literally moving around. There's no resistance until I hit a bone. So that to me says that's nice and cooked. Turn the temperature at the moment, 203. That's the temperature we're rocking at the moment. So now I'm going to take these out, I'm going to put them on the chopping board, I'm just going to let them rest for like 20 minutes, something like that, just so that they've got time just to kind of like rest for all the juices to redistribute through the meat. So these go, you know, if you look, so even the smaller ones have got a really nice bit of bend in it. So if you don't want to put a hole in the top, that's one way you can tell. You can get on with it, give it a flex, and if it's got a nice bit of bend in it, as you can see that was flexing nicely, that basically said that everything's done. And then we'll let that rest for like say 10-15 minutes, and then we'll come back and see how we did. So I'm put those ones to the side and let's just open these up. Now this should hopefully be a nice little pool of all different juices, that butter and the sugar that's melted down. Oh yeah, look at that. And that is what you call Sarah ribs. Smells amazing, but looks incredible. And to be honest, I'm so impressed with how quickly it's cooked. Now admittedly they're not the thickest ribs, but do you know what? They actually cooked really, really nice and quickly. Now this little pool of juice and everything that's left in here, do not chuck that away. First, you can do two things. You can either pour them back over your ribs if you want, or if you're serving it for something like, I don't know, potato salad or something like that, you add that to your potato salad, it is next level. Literally, I have a friend who begs for this so he can pour it just over his potato salad while he's chewing on the rib. He absolutely loves it, and to be honest, I don't blame it, it tastes fantastic. Flip these over, you can see the ribs obviously start straight here then bend. So I'm going to cut straight in the middle, nice and easy. Now look at that, that is beautiful. You can see there's loads of moisture in there, all juicy, so you can tell we cooked those perfectly. So take a nice slice of this one. Now So this is the bit I've been waiting for all day. Time to take a bite. Oh yeah. God, got a really nice flavour. All that sweetness you can see sitting on top, that's beautiful. I mean look, you've got a beautiful bite through there as well. The flavour is really nice. It's got quite a salt background in there, so we were totally right not to hit these with any more salt. Now rub that up on, it's just really nice, and then with that sugar and the butter on top as well, you've got a really, really beautiful sort of flavour. So what we learned from here, firstly, these ribs are actually really nice. So you fancy something a little bit different than your plain Jane rib, actually these bacon ribs are really, really nice. Also the rack that I brought for the Ninja worked a treat. They cooked really, really nice on there, and as you can see, the colour and bark on here is just stunning. It looks really, really nice. So I definitely would recommend that. I'll definitely recommend these. A little bit on the thinner side, but if you cook them right, they come out beautifully. But the main thing is that you enjoy this video. If you did, smash that subscribe button, think about giving it the old thumbs up. And if you want to learn how to cook more things on the Ninja, well, why don't go and check this video out where I'll show you how to cook pulled pork. Till the next video, take care of yourself. Don't know why I winked it yet, but I'll see you soon.
I just can't deny it.